Take a walk through any neighborhood in Japan, and you will witness a quiet defiance of what we believe aging is supposed to look like. An 85-year-old ascending a staircase without a hand on the rail. A 93-year-old walking to market with a perfectly straight spine. A centenarian who has never known the touch of a walker. Now, contrast that with the United States, where nearly half of all adults over 75 depend on mobility aids simply to navigate their own homes. Here is the truth that often goes unspoken. The difference isn't rooted in genetics. It's found in habits. And many of the small, powerful habits that keep Japanese elders mobile, confident, and independent have subtly eroded from American life. This is not another list of exercise tips for seniors. You've seen those. This is about rediscovering 5 fundamental movements hidden in plain sight that keep joints fluid, muscles strong, and balance sharp, all without ever setting foot in a gym. These are not stretches or workouts. They are lifestyle rituals, deeply woven into the fabric of Japanese culture and backed by science in ways most Western doctors overlook. In the next few minutes, you will learn what these habits are, and more importantly, why they work in a way that feels effortless, natural, and even enjoyable. First, let's explore the 15-minute morning ritual, a neurological reset, not a warm-up. For many, the first moments of the day are a negotiation with stiffness. You wake and your joints feel locked, your back resists the call to move, and your energy is slow to arrive. So you pour a coffee, sit down, and wait to feel better. But that stiffness doesn't simply fade, it compounds. Each morning, you forgo meaningful movement. Your nervous system remains sluggish, your joint fluid stays thick, and your muscles forget their purpose. Over time, you move less, and with less confidence, until getting down to the floor becomes an impossibility, or worse, a fear. Since 1928, many Japanese elders have started their day differently. It's not exercise or yoga, but something far more intelligent. A full-body neurological reset called radio taiso. Millions practice it each morning, not to burn calories or build muscle, but to gently reactivate every major joint, stabilizer muscle, and balance circuit in the brain, all within 15 minutes of waking. This habit doesn't just wake up the body, it recalibrates it. Think of it as restarting your phone so the apps run smoothly, only this is for your spine, your hips, and your knees. Research from Tokyo Metropolitan University shows that those who practice daily morning joint movements report 37% less stiffness throughout the day, even into their 80s and 90s. And the best part? You don't need to follow a Japanese broadcast or join a park group at dawn. A simplified version can be done in your pajamas, in your living room, shifting your body from stiff and foggy to fluid and alert in under 5 minutes. No gym, no trainer, not even a mat is required. Just a few moments of movement that tells your body, today is for living, not just for surviving. Reflect for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly ready to move the moment you woke up? Imagine feeling that way every single day. Second, the floor transition, the hidden strength test that protects your dignity. Let me ask an uncomfortable question. If you were to fall right now, could you get back up without help? Most Americans over 65 cannot. It isn't because they are weak. It's because modern life has engineered the single most important daily movement for lifelong strength out of existence, getting up from the floor. In Japan, this movement remains an integral part of daily life, not as a workout, but as a requirement of the environment. Low tables, futons, floor seating, and tea ceremonies all demand dozens of transitions from floor to standing every single day. This matters more than any gym routine. When you rise from the floor, your brain ignites a deep neurological sequence, firing your glutes, quads, core, and ankle stabilizers in a precise order. This single movement trains your fall recovery reflex better than any machine ever could. But here's the part no one talks about. The ability to get up from the floor without using your hands isn't just a marker of strength. It's a predictor of independence, survival, and dignity. A 2012 Brazilian study found that individuals who could rise from the floor without assistance had an 83% lower mortality rate over a 6-year period. This wasn't because of the movement itself, but because it reflects the brain's ability to command the body when life becomes unpredictable. In America, we sit in chairs, sleep in high beds, and use elevated toilets. We have engineered every challenge out of our movement, and in doing so, we have lost the very strength we need to stay free. This isn't about furniture, it's about reteaching your body what resilience feels like. When was the last time you got up from the floor just to prove you still could? Third, the Japanese walking secret. Why every step you take could be aging you faster. For decades, we've been told to simply walk more. But what if how you walk matters far more than how far? In the US, most people walk with long strides, heavy heel strikes, and a forward-leaning posture. It feels efficient, but it is quietly destructive to your joints. Every heel-first slam sends a shockwave up your ankles, knees, hips, and lower back. Researchers at Stanford found that this typical heel striking generates an impact of 2 to 3 times your body weight with every single step. Multiply that by 8,000 steps a day. In Japan, elders walk differently. It's not just more often, it's more intelligently. Their steps are shorter and softer. Their feet land near the midfoot, not the heel. Their posture remains tall, their core gently engaged. This is not a style, it's a system, refined over centuries of walking in traditional sandals that made heavy heel striking impossible. Biomechanical studies show this manner of walking reduces joint impact by 32% and activates 47% more stabilizer muscles. That isn't just joint protection, it's full-body balance insurance built into every step. And what's truly shocking is that many Americans develop poor walking mechanics not from injury, but from their shoes. Thick soles, rigid arches, and elevated heels have turned our feet into passive passengers, unable to sense or respond to the ground. Japanese-style walking retrains your entire kinetic chain, from the muscles in your feet to the balance centers in your brain. It is not about speed, it's about smart movement, designed to preserve the very joints that keep you independent. So the next time you walk, ask yourself, are you pounding the pavement, or are you moving with purpose? Fourth, hip mobility by design. Why Japanese homes preserve the one joint that keeps you independent. You can lose 40% of your hip mobility and never notice, until it's too late. The hip joint, a ball and socket, is meant to move in multiple directions. Yet the Western lifestyle locks it into a 90-degree angle for most of the day. Sitting at breakfast, 90 degrees. Driving, 90 degrees. Watching television, 90 degrees. Repeat that for 30 years, and one day you find you can't squat, you can't tie your shoes, and you can't balance. Doctors call this adaptive shortening, when your body reshapes itself around a lack of movement. In Japan, that loss often never happens. Why? Because the culture integrates hip mobility into daily life, not as an exercise, but through the environment itself. Sitting on the floor opens the hips in external rotation. The seiza position, kneeling on the heels, promotes deep flexion in the knees and ankles. Even sleeping on a futon requires deep squat transitions twice a day. These are not workouts. They are joint-saving rituals disguised as routine. And here is the critical connection. Full hip mobility doesn't just protect your hips. It safeguards your knees, your spine, and your balance. When your hips are locked, your lower back overcompensates, your knees take on extra strain, and your center of mass becomes harder to control. This makes falls more likely and recovery far slower. A study from the Japanese Orthopedic Association found that elders who retained full hip mobility had an 89% lower chance of needing a walker after the age of 80. Not because they stretched, but because their homes demanded movement. In the West, we build for comfort. In Japan, they build for resilience. So ask yourself, Has your furniture made your life easier, or has it quietly stolen your freedom? Fifth, the Environmental Balance Challenge. Why Japanese homes train your brain, not just your body. In America, balance training is often something you do in physical therapy. After, you've already fallen. In Japan, balance is trained constantly before you ever realize you need it. The secret isn't in special exercises, it's in the environment. Step into a traditional Japanese home, and you are greeted by a genkan, a raised entryway that forces you to step up and down while removing your shoes. It sounds simple, but neurologically, it's a masterpiece. Each time you step up, balance on one foot, twist, and reach for a slipper, you are running a full-body proprioceptive drill without even thinking about it. Japanese elders do this multiple times a day, every day of their lives. It's not exercise. It's exposure therapy for the balance system. Modern Western life, by contrast, is engineered for predictability. Flat sidewalks, even flooring, bright lighting, and handrails everywhere. It feels safer, but it robs your brain of the very challenges it needs to stay sharp. Balance isn't a fixed ability. It's a neurological reflex that declines with disuse. When your brain no longer encounters variable surfaces or shifting angles, it forgets how to respond. This is why 70% of Americans over 75 report balance problems, while many Japanese elders continue to navigate temple grounds with uneven stones and no handrails in full confidence. A Kyoto University study revealed that elders who regularly navigated varied terrain had a 43% better balance recovery reflex when stumbling. They didn't train harder, their environment trained their brains. So the question is, are you training for stability, or are you simply avoiding all risk? Balance isn't lost with age, it's lost with comfort. But now that you know, you can reclaim it. Stand on one leg while brushing your teeth. Walk across grass, gravel, or sand. Close your eyes for 10 seconds while washing dishes. These small challenges are all it takes. If these habits feel inspiring but overwhelming, here is some practical advice. Start small, and start with what your body needs most. If you wake up stiff, begin with the morning movement ritual. If getting off the floor feels impossible, focus on that transition. If walking hurts, shift your attention to your gait. If your back or knees ache, chances are your hips are locked. Start there. And if you've noticed your balance is wobbly, the environmental challenge is your key. You don't need all 5 to make progress. Just pick one. Stay consistent for 14 days and observe the change. Mobility isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Growing older does not have to mean growing weaker. It can mean growing wiser about what your body truly needs to stay free, strong, and independent. The Japanese don't age better because of perfect genes or miracle diets. They age better because they never stop moving with intention. They never stop rising from the floor, walking with awareness, or challenging their balance. Most importantly, they never accept that stiffness, decline, and dependency are inevitable. Now you know what they know. You can reclaim what so many have forgotten. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to change the small moments, the transitions, the steps, the first few minutes of your morning. Pick one habit. Practice it daily for 2 weeks and watch what shifts, not just in your body, but in your belief about what aging can be. Your body is still listening, and movement is the language it has always understood. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone you love, someone who deserves to walk through life with strength, balance, and dignity. I would love to know, what's your name, how young are you, and where are you watching from? And if you'd like to continue learning powerful ways to stay mobile and strong as you age, consider subscribing. There is so much more to share. Your journey isn't over. In fact, it might just be beginning.